Terry, will you please call the roll so we can confirm the board members in attendance?
Curtis Baumgartner.
Here.
Julia Grimmer.
Here.
Mike Hall.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay, I'm calling the meeting to order at 7:01. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. If we don't have any changes to the agenda, do we have a motion to approve this meeting's agenda as prepared?
I move to approve this evening's agenda.
I second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, Terry, will you please call the roll for vote?
Curtis Baumgartner.
Here, or yes?
Julia Grimmer.
Yes.
Mike Hall.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, moving on to the public comments portion. Mr. Vice President, are there any members of the public that want to address the board?
Yes, Madam President, we do have several members here this evening. When I call your name, if you could step up to the microphone, you'll have to turn it on. You'll have 3 minutes to speak, at which time we'll signal you to stop, and then we'll call the next member up. We'll start with Jolene Daly. Jolene, no? All right, no worries. Nathaniel Walden. Mr. Walden. If you could just state your name and your address, please.
How do I turn this puppy on?
You're on.
Oh, it's already on. There you go.
There we go. All right, everybody, thank you for having me. My name is Nathaniel Walden, for the record. Topic I wanted to talk about tonight is near and dear to many of the people in this room, and that's the potential development or further development of Armstrong Park. I'd like to focus my comments as a Westfield resident today about what I think Armstrong Park is to the people of our community and provide my 2 cents as to what its future should entail. For many, Armstrong Park seems like a boring field waiting to be shaped and molded. And while I can understand the human desire to want more, better, closer, the park to me represents something we don't really have many other places in Westfield. And that's a flat, open space that's use is mainly limited only by our imaginations. In a run of unbroken development that this city has seen for the past 20-some years, we've created some really nice things: shopping, sports fields and courts, entertainment, playgrounds, you name it. It's the reason why we're growing by leaps and bounds right now, frankly. However, the thing I don't think we've prioritized in all that development is green space and nature. Just check the GIS map from Westfield from the past few decades. Year after year, the green space and the forests, shrink at an astounding pace. People use Armstrong Park for the coolest things that you just can't do without a fairly flat, wide open space. I go by the park at least daily, and I wanted to tell you some of the things I see in case you don't. Kids, and sometimes adults, playing pickup, wiffle ball, flag football, soccer, baseball games. Children, and again, sometimes adults, flying kites. People learning to fly drones and other remote-controlled aircraft. Pets jumping and chasing long-lofted toys back to their owners. Children learning to ride bikes with a nice, safe crashing spot, unencumbered by cars and other concrete barriers. People practicing golf in the open expanse. People sitting and enjoying an unobstructed view of nature or a sunset. Huge snowmen being built. Hot air balloons landing. The best amateur firework display you will ever see. And every kind of frisbee, ball toss, or tag game you can see. This is my final paragraph. In short, this park is providing a niche other parks just aren't built to serve right now. Any forward-moving plans, in my opinion, should strive to preserve the essence of the current structure as a large, multi-use, open concept that everyone can enjoy. And I thank the committee for its time.
Thank you, Mr. Walden. Well said. We'll go to Josh Bleicher.
Thank you for having us tonight. My name is Josh Bleicher. I'm just going to 100% echo what Nathaniel had mentioned. As a countryside resident and someone who can see Armstrong Park from my back porch, everything that he has mentioned that he sees as he drives by daily is 100% accurate. And as someone who has two very young daughters, I look forward to being a long-term countryside resident and taking my children out there to enjoy all of the things that he mentioned. So I'm just echoing what Nathaniel has said. So thank you.
Thank you so much. We'll go to Michelle. If you could, when you step up to the mic, if you could please state your name and your address, that would be.
Sure. Michelle
awesome.
Vandermissen. I'm at 16223 Countryside. I can see the park from my front porch. So I agree with all of those beautiful, open use items, and I hope to preserve much of that. My one concern is when we have a lot of people out there doing those things, there's a huge traffic pileup with people kind of semi-parking on the berms, and I worry about that. That anything we do to change or amend the park has a really good traffic study with that, because you'll see near misses all the time when we have 3 or 4 or 5 cars parked there. I've seen some sort of blue sky plans, and I really would not like to see that parking be right in the center of that area where everything piles up when people pull off. So I really hope that it remains an open use area, but if we're going to promote it and do anything else with it, definitely we need to do careful consideration of people coming and going from the space.
Thank you, Michelle. Next is Suzanne and Scott. Dagley? I apologize if I mispronounce your name, but. Dagley, thank you.
16328 Countryside Boulevard. And I am definitely ditto Nathaniel's comments. But as somebody who lives on the boulevard, our concern is also the traffic that it will bring into our neighborhood as well. The boulevard itself right now has definitely potholes all over it, and we're going to have a lot more traffic. Children concerned with the speeding that happens on the boulevard. We're going to bring more people into our areas. The sidewalk usage that we have, it's going to definitely need some work being done as well in that back area because the sidewalks are coming up. And can I ask questions? I have a concern about you can't ask questions.
Well, you can ask them,
So
but we.
is the pond there, is that owned by the countryside or is that owned by the city?
I can step in with
Armstrong.
that one. Those ponds are actually owned by Countryside and maintained by the HOA.
Okay, so in the picture, it shows people fishing and utilizing that area. Is the walkway, is that owned by
Those-
Countryside or is
those-
that owned by?
To address that question, those plans that are in that master plan are just a high-level concept. There is nothing about that concept that is set in stone.
Okay.
And when we would get to a point where we would develop Countryside, if that ever does happen, we would have several public input meetings to address what would be developed there.
Okay.
So please keep that in mind when you're looking at the master plan, that is just a pie-in-the-sky idea and nothing more or nothing less.
Okay, then hopefully we have our input and you can utilize that in this meeting because there is definitely concerns. Thank you.
Appreciate your time, Tammy. I'm sorry, yeah. Suzanne, sorry. Tammy, you're next.
I am Tammy DeVrue, 16310 Oldenburg Circle. My house backs right up to the park as well, and I can, again, confirm that yes, that park is used for many wonderful things, watching the kids out back with their parents, flying the kites, people training their dogs. It would be truly missed if we're bringing in some of the items that you've got listed on the slate, and I know that nothing's set in stone, but things like, and I'm sure we've got some fans here of pickleball, but the noise that comes with that, those are some things that if we have to look at developing that, which I hope isn't the case because Westfield doesn't have very many more green spaces left, and we'd like to be able to see it remain that way, but if something has to be developed, I would hope that it would be maybe the planting of more trees and gazebos or something like that, rather than pickleball courts and parking lots and light structures and restrooms and things that come with the park. So just something, if we're taking ideas right now, that I would like you to consider. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That concludes public comments.
Okay, all right, thank you. Thank you all. Moving on to the minutes from our last meeting on February 5th, 2025. Is there a motion to either make changes to the minutes or to approve them?
Madam President, I do have a minor correction to the agenda. I'm sorry, the minutes from the February Park Board meeting. Mike Antrim actually was absent, and it notes that he abstained from voting on a couple of these motions. So just want to make sure that as we make motion to accept the minutes from the February meeting, we note those changes and amend them appropriately. With that, I will go ahead and motion to correct the minutes and remove reference to Mike Antrim as abstaining from votes on the items of new business, and then approve them with those amended changes, or with those amendments.
Second? Anybody?
I second.
Any discussion? Terry, will you call the roll, please?
Curtis Baumgartner,
Yes?
Julia Grimmer,
Yes.
Mike Hall.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay. Moving on to old business. We don't have any items of old business, so moving further on down the line to new business. We have 3 items to discuss today. The first item is Resolution 25-109, a resolution of the City of Westfield Parks and Department Recreation Board approving and adopting the City of Westfield 5-year Comprehensive Park and Recreation Master Plan. Chris, can you please provide an overview of this item?
Yes, this is an item that is required as part of the master plan and its acceptance by Indiana DNR. It is a resolution that states you all are accepting the master plan as written and accepting it as a guiding document for the Parks Department over the next 5 years. So it is not information that is set in stone, but it is information that will guide our actions and our development as we move forward over the next several years.
Any questions among members of the board? Okay.
Chris, for the members of the public that are here, what with regards to the DNR, can you kind of talk about the importance of having a master plan, like as far as grant funding and some of those different things go?
Absolutely. So the importance of having a master plan, first of all, this isn't our first go round with master plans. The department has had a master plan since 2012 was the first time that the department did a master plan, and we've done one every 5 years since that first one. We are doing another one kind of in an off year because at the beginning of 2024, council adopted us being a state recognized department with a parks board. So with the Parks Board, that allowed us to update our master plan and meet a lot of the stipulations that the state Department of Natural Resources put out to accept us as a recognized state department. And having both the board and the accepted master plan would allow us to qualify for a lot of additional state and federal funding. Some of the examples of those things are the Next Level Trails Grant Program through the state, the Next Level Conservation Program through the state, as well as the Land and Water Conservation Fund through the federal government. So without having a board and without having a 5-year master plan, we don't qualify for those things. So that's the importance of not only the board and these members you see sitting up here, but also of this master plan document. And I will say this again, it is not something that is set in stone. It is a very living document, and it helps to guide our actions. It doesn't determine our actions.
Okay, any other questions, comments from the board? Is there a motion to approve Resolution 25-109?
Yeah, I move to approve Resolution 25-109.
Second.
Well, okay, so the material that was in the public notice, you know, the version, it's not the updated version?
Correct. This is not. We have an updated version that's in front of you, and this is the new Resolution 25-109, and it has been changed to reflect the changes that both you and Curtis requested, and it has been reviewed by Caitlin.
Okay, I don't have that, but I want to
Okay.
make sure when we vote,
Yep.
that's what we're voting on.
Yep.
Okay. Oh, that's okay, that's okay. Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Terry, will you please call the roll?
Curtis Baumgartner,
Yes.
Julia Germer,
Yes.
Mike Hall.
Yes.
Motion carries.
I'll try to explain this as best I can, if you don't mind. Originally, what was posted on our website is Indiana Code 36-10-314, which is applicable to the responsibilities of park superintendents. Indiana Code kind of outlines the roles and responsibilities that a superintendent should take. We ended up changing this, since this is a park board policy, to 36-10-13, which allows the department to publish materials like a 5-year master plan. And so there wasn't a broad sweeping change to the resolution. We just made those changes just to be a little bit cleaner and kind of outline the expectations of what the master plan means to the department, and how it kind of fits into the broader scope of the department, or the park board, excuse me. So just thought I'd give just a brief synopsis, Chris.
Appreciate that.
Okay, next item on the agenda is a master services agreement with Rent.Fun LLC for a kayak rental station at a one-time cost of $20,000. Chris, will you please provide an overview of this item, as well as state the action you, actually, I think we know what action, so will you give us an overview?
Absolutely. So this is a contract with a company called Rent.Fun, which is a sister company of a company called Tandem Mobility. Tandem Mobility provides bike share throughout Carmel and a couple of other central Indiana communities. Rent.Fun is the company that actually provides kayak share. And this contract will provide a pilot program at Simon Moon Park at the new lake that we've just getting ready to open here in April. And it will have a locker with 4 kayaks, or 4 lockers. Each locker will have a kayak, a paddle, and a life jacket in it. It is solar powered, so any resident at any time could walk up, scan a QR code, and for about $15 an hour, get the life jacket, the kayak, and the paddle out, and kayak at Simon Moon Park. Some of the other cool features about this and this company is that there also is a year membership that you can acquire, and with that year membership, you can use their kayak share or Tandem Mobility's bike share anywhere in the country that they offer it, and it's unlimited use through that year membership as well. So it's something new to the area, and I think it's going to be a really cool new amenity. I'm really excited to bring it and see how it's received by the community.
Any questions from the board?
Mike brought up a good point. Did we actually take a vote on the last resolution? Before we bring this one to vote? Terry,
Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped that. I thought
I'm
we
not
did.
sure if we did not. We need to do that.
Oh. Sorry about that. So I guess we'll
Yes.
circle back to that? Okay, well, thank you.
Curtis Baumgartner,
Yes.
Mike Hall,
Yes.
Julia Grimmer,
Yes. Okay, sorry about that, guys. On to the kayak rental station. Any questions, comments? Caitlin did review this.
Caitlin has reviewed it in its entirety. She actually made several changes and went back and forth with Rent.Fun to get it to a point where she was comfortable with everything it stated.
Okay, great. So is there a motion?
Yeah, I move to approve the master service agreement with Rent.Fun for self-service kayak rental station services at Simon Moon Park in the amount of $20,000, and authorize the director and city legal counsel to take all actions necessary to complete the contracting process.
Is there a second?
I second.
Will you please call the roll?
Curtis Baumgartner,
Yes.
Julia Grimmer,
Yes.
Mike Hall.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Final item of new business today is assigning authority for the spring 2025 roundabout landscaping project. Chris, can we get an overview of this item as well? And any other comments you might have about
Absolutely.
process?
So we put out a bid for roundabout landscaping at 3 roundabouts within the community this spring, to happen this spring. Those roundabouts are 169th and Spring Mill, 191st and East, and 161st and Oak Road. We had an incredible response to that. We had 9 different bidders, each with 3 different proposals, or 3 different designs for each roundabout. So we ended up with 27 different designs. And it's taking us a lot longer to review them than we'd hoped. And the reason for the signing authority is because I would like to get the signing authority so that when we have all of them scored and we are ready to award a contract, we don't have to wait until the April meeting. We can go ahead and enter into those contracts and keep this project moving forward so we can meet the optimal planting time.
Any questions or comments? Okay, seeing none, is there a motion?
Yes, I move to authorize the director and city legal counsel to take all actions necessary to complete the contracting process for the spring 2025 roundabout landscaping RFP in an amount not to exceed $200,000.
Is there a second?
Second?
Okay, no other discussion it looks like, so will you please call the roll?
Curtis Baumgartner,
Yes.
Julia Grimmer,
Yes,
Mike Hall,
Yes.
motion carries.
thank you. Now, it's time for the director's report. So back to you, Chris.
Thank you, Madam President. So I got a few things for you. It's kind of slow at the moment, but we do have quite a bit going on. If I can get to my right page of notes here, I apologize. There we go. So Simon Moon, Phase 1 is complete, but we do have some punch list items that have started back up. The fence will be up probably for another month. Towards the end of March, it will come down. We're still on track to have an official ribbon cutting in late April. Phase 2 of Simon Moon is well underway. We're progressing with our construction documents. V3, our landscape architect who is working on the project, as well as Synthesis, who is the actual architect. They've been out several times for some site visits to make sure that we're finalizing all the details and we have everything in place so when we go to bid this in late June, we can put out the most extensive bid package, and there's not a lot of question when we go to build it. Next item on the list I have for you guys is an update about Freedom Trail. We are going through the process of getting ready to build a restroom at Freedom Trail finally. It is well needed, long needed. So we've gotten through the design process and we are working on an RFP to go to bid with that. The hope is to go to bid later this spring and hopefully have construction commence in the summer or late in the fall so that we can get a restroom done, which again is really needed at that park. Our staff right now, they're kind of getting ready for the spring. They've been working on opening up the parks, the restroom, and cleaning the parks. The restroom at Isabel's will open in early April. They've painted all of the trash cans in all of the parks over the wintertime and refurbished those. And they are getting ready to paint the restroom at Quaker Park so it has a nice fresh coat of paint for the coming year. We also have several events coming up. On the 15th, we will host with Westfield Welcome Shamrock Drop at Grand Junction Plaza, which is a fundraising event that goes to benefit the Westfield Washington Schools Foundation. And then also we have a Hamilton County Invasive Partnership event to eradicate invasives, most importantly bush honeysuckle, at Isabel's that will also happen on the 15th. And then finally, our contractors, our landscape contractors, they're working on spring ops. You'll see them doing a lot of cutback and a lot of placement of mulch and some pruning of a lot of the things throughout the community in roundabouts, along trails, in parks, at city buildings. And they also completed the first round of US 31 trash collection, which resulted in collecting over 240 55-gallon trash bags from the 31 corridor in about 2 weeks worth of time. So we don't have a tremendous amount going on, but we still got enough going on to keep us busy. With that all said, are there any questions or comments the board might have for me at this time? All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Okay, moving on to other business. Does the board have any items that they would like to discuss? Nope. Okay, hearing of no items, I'll just And a reminder that our next regular meeting will be held on Wednesday, April 2nd. And we are now at the end of our agenda, so can I get a motion to adjourn in a second?
I motion to adjourn.
Second.
Terry?
Curtis Baumgartner,
Yes.
Julia Grimmer,
Yes.
Mike Hall,
Yes.
meeting adjourned.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody, for coming out tonight.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, Caitlin.